another fun one. I love this mode. I love this mood. Right? It also has kind of a mystique about it, but it's just like, it goes back to that slightly psychedelic kind of sound, but in more of a major context, as opposed to like what Dorian did, which was like psychedelic, but in a mostly minor scale kind of context. So it's just a very subtle shift in mood, but it's something that, like, as you're getting to know these modes, right, in these videos that we're doing, you're gonna start to identify when you listen to your favorite songs, you're gonna start hearing things and be like, that kind of sounds like Lydian, or that kind of sounds like Dorian, right? You're gonna start picking those apart because there's so many famous songs that obviously use the modes, right? And that's the fun of it. Then you really train your ear to identify and match up each mode with each mood, right? Each musical mood, so that you know how to employ them in action, right? So let's break down the Mixolydian mode. So E, obviously, so we have the root note here, 7th fret on A, like usual. The second is our 9th fret on A, and then we have our 3rd, which is the same, 6th fret on D. Our 4th is the same, 7th fret on D. Our 5th is the same, 9th fret on D. Our 6th is the same. So it's like the first 6 notes is pretty much the major scale, but the 7th is where we change it. We're actually gonna play a flatted 7th. So not this one, we're gonna flatten it. Ooh. And then with our octave. So we're essentially playing 7, 9 on the A string, 6, 7, 9 on the D string, and 6, 7, 9 on the G string. So let's kind of hear it in context. That changed note right there is really where all the tension is, right? And where so if we were to go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, it's the T that is now, so do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Very different, right? So let's wander through this one a little bit, right? So far, just like major, just like Ionian. It's really that flat 7th there. There's a little quote from a song that just kind of like happened that way, but definitely a song that utilizes that Mixolydian. So again, wandering through the scale will really help you find the notes. So one fun thing that you can do is like find like stacked notes, because that's really a departure from what you normally do, right? Because even me, like, I still struggle with the tendency to want to climb up and down the scale in a linear fashion. But when you wander through it, especially when you're wandering with stacked notes, like, because right here, like on the 6th, 7th, and 9th frets, between the D and the G string, those notes are all within the Mixolydian mode, right? So you can go through like stacked notes like that and create some pretty unique ideas. That's cool, I like that. I'm just barring, you know, those frets from both the D and the G strings. 9th fret, 7th fret, 6th fret. When you play something like that, you know, it just has a musical maturity to it. And again, that's how you can find these really cool ideas that you wouldn't otherwise come up with had you not put yourself in this very intimate situation where it's just you and your guitar and you're just getting acquainted, becoming really good friends with these modes one by one and getting to know them note for note. When you combine that ear training, right, like being able to identify the modes and everything, and then also as you play through them, you'll start to have identifying factors in how you navigate the mode, because you're utilizing, right, you're actually tapping into your own sense, your own self-expression, and you're using the modes as like a vessel, right, or as like a conduit to express yourself. So these are a great way to find, like, you know, you could say signature licks, you know, just by like messing around, even in this limited framework like this. Because again, remember, each mode is just 7 notes. That's all it is. So when you learn how to play it all across the fretboard, you're just learning those 7 notes over and over and over again. They're just in different positions on the fretboard or in different octaves, but it's still those same fundamental 7 notes. Now, one thing I want to mention about the modes, it's a certain reality that kind of comes attached to them. It's that even though we're going to learn all 7 of them in this little series, in reality, you're only going to play maybe 3 or 4 of them in real world situations, right? In popular music, you know, like I play out in Nashville all the time, and I play major scale all the time, minor scale, you know, so Ionian, Aeolian, Mixolydian, you know, fairly often, Dorian sometimes, right? Lydian less often, but anytime I can get away with it, I try to throw it in there because it sounds great. But you'll notice that some of these modes are more identifiable than others and are more popular than others. That's not to say that you shouldn't use the less popular ones, but just letting you know that if, let's say, there's certain modes that you don't necessarily jive with that much, that's totally okay. Just get to know them, find out for yourself, truly understand, like let your ear tell you whether you actually enjoy the way they sound or the kind of mood that they convey or not. All right, and then apply accordingly. So just pick and choose your favorite modes and then just stick with those. That is totally fine, and that is what I would say most guitar players tend to do anyway.